All right, let's see. My volume working today? Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. So we are live. We are live on YouTube. Let me get us live on Facebook and then we are going to start. Thank you so much for being here. I am super excited. Listen, thank you so much for being here. As I just mentioned, I'm super excited to be here. We are on day 16 of um this 30-day challenge. I'm so sorry. Get a little tongue tied here. But we are already on day 16. So I'm super excited that you decided to stop by, hang out with your girl for a few minutes. Let me know which city, state, or country you are watching this from, especially if you come in later on and see this replay. Again, I'm Marshawn Olanio. Today we are talking about your voice. Trusting yourself. I'm sorry. Today we're talking about trusting yourself. Yesterday we talked about your voice and how it matters. Today is all about building your own trust about your decisions that you are making. So again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for coming in. I am Marshawn Olanio. I am a shift relationship strategist, and I specifically serve Black women, professional Black women, that is, helping them to show up differently in all of their relationships using tailored strategies so they can cultivate loving, beautiful relationships. And I say relationships because I'm talking about the one that they have to get in order before they even decide to date, which is the relationship that you have with yourself. So over this period of these 30 days, we have been talking about how to honor yourself, how to lean into you, how to get to know yourself better so you can stop making the same mistakes when you go out on dates in 2025. We're no longer accepting the same type of treatment, the same type of behavior, as well as you're not even accepting that treatment of yourself in a harmful way or in a bad way or in a negative way. Any word that you want to insert there, we're not doing any of that in 2025. So here we are, day 16 of 2025. We are already more than halfway through the month of January. So again, thank you so much for partaking into this. So now, dating. A lot of people want to date. Dating has always been a thing for most people. Most people really want to date to get out of the dating scene. There are some times where people are in the dating scene because they're going through something, but they don't want to necessarily be alone and they want to have some fun. Whatever title you want to insert there, they're not necessarily in it for an actual relationship. However, the majority of you, and those of you who are probably finding this, want more. And so that's where this 30 days have come into play. You wanting more, me putting out this information so you can understand what areas you are weak in so you can start to strengthen those areas so you can do better, be better, and attract a better mate in 2025, especially if you want different, if you want more, if you want better. You cannot expect the other person to be the only person that's doing his work. The both of you should be either working on it and or have already worked on certain areas so you can attract somebody that is similar to where you're at, that has the same core values as you and is ready to cultivate a loving relationship. Also realizing that the past will creep up from time to time because the past is what we are comfortable with, even though we know at times that the past behaviors, the past habits, that's what I mean by the past, those things can creep back up and come into the relationship, even though it's hurting the relationship. It's mainly just because that is where you were comfortable at. That you know that habit, you know what this is going to do for you, bring to the relationship, all of those things. But that doesn't mean it's healthy behaviors. That does not mean what you're doing is a healthy habit. So 2025, we are doing something different in order to get different results. With that being said, let's talk about trusting yourself and why building trust in your own decisions is important. Now, trusting your own decisions is a declaration that your voice matters. Your intuition is valid and your lived experiences are powerful enough to guide you. This trust is not just about making choices. It's not just about making choices. It's about reclaiming the authority over your life, which the world often tries to strip away. Trusting your own decisions is about honoring this wisdom passed down through generations of resilient Black women who trusted themselves when no one else in the world would. Because here's the truth. Here's the truth. Trusting yourself doesn't mean you won't make any mistakes. That's not what trust is. It means that you believe in your ability to learn, to grow, and to adapt no matter what. It also means silencing that critical inner voice, silencing all the noise around you, and instead tuning into what your inner is telling you and or your gut feeling, tuning into what that is telling you about you or about the situation and or about the person that you may want. Like in your spirit of spirit, you really want to date this person. However, something in your gut is telling you something ain't right, and you may not be able to put that finger on what that something is. However, whenever you go against following your intuition, that's when you get into trouble. So we don't want to do that. It means silencing the noise, silencing all of those critics, and leaning into your inner gut, your inner knowing, right? This is that voice that is rooted in your intuition, as I mentioned, the knowledge that you actually have, and the legacy of your foremothers that has always been there. You just need to tap into it. You just need to listen to it. Because did you know that 78%, again, 78% of Black women report feeling the pressure to always be perfect, not only in their professional lives or in their career on their job, but also in their personal lives. And that can be really, really tough. This constant striving can make many of us second guess ourselves and our decisions. Yet studies show that Black women are among the most entrepreneurial and educated groups in the US. So if we're already achieving so much, imagine what could happen if we just trusted our own instincts and leaned into our own decisions. If we just trusted ourselves a little bit more, just imagine how much more we could actually do, how much more we can actually accomplish if we started to believe in ourselves, if you started to believe in you. So, trusting yourself, trusting your own decisions is what we're talking about. And here's why it's vital. One of the first reasons why it is vital is because it helps you to leverage faith in the process. To leverage faith in the process. Trusting yourself doesn't mean you have it all figured out all the time. That's not what it means. Faith in your spiritual beliefs combined with self-trust creates a foundation of strength that helps you move forward even when the path seems unclear. See, many of people, when I'm working with clients, a lot of my clients, they have a tendency to, like, they don't want to take the next step or even, let's say, the first step because of the unknown, because they don't know how it's going to turn out, because they don't know how their partner is going to handle the conversation, because they don't know if they bring up this particular incident or this particular thing that has been bothering them in the relationship, if the relationship is going to continue and or it may end. So it's just the unknown. It's just the unknown, but you really do have to leverage your faith in this process. The more that you're able to speak up for yourself, we talked all about your voice and how it matters yesterday. If you have yet to watch that, then go ahead, and there is a playlist all about how to become a better dater. I'm putting every single video for these next 30 days in that playlist that is on my channel. If you missed yesterday's, you can go and scroll on my channel. But the easiest way to find it is just to go to the playlist, and the link will be linked down below after the video, right? So with that being said, your voice does matter. You have to leverage everything in your gut, leverage all of the knowledge that you have, and lean into it and understand that this is a process. Building trust in yourself, building trust in your decisions is a process, especially if you have yet to lean into your decision-making skills. If you are always a person that needs to get everybody's opinion or 2, 3, 4 people opinion before you make a decision about something that is going to be life-changing and or something that is very small, it is time for you to tap into your own intuition, your own ability, and start building this muscle, start building this skill, and start making these decisions on your own. Because again, it does not mean that the decision that you make is going to be the right one. But not deciding chickening out is also a decision, whether you realize that or not. You may make the decision that you're not going to decide in this moment. That's still a decision, whether you realize it or not. So leverage faith in this process. Number 2, you have to decide from a place of worthiness. Whenever you're making your decisions, understand that you are worthy enough to make said decisions. Many of us hesitate to trust ourselves because we subconsciously question if we deserve good outcomes. So remind yourself daily, you are worthy of the life you want, and your decisions are valid steps toward that life. Let me say that again. You are worthy of the life you want, and your decisions are valid steps toward the life that you say that you want, because you can deserve the life that you want. You have to lean into it. Getting the life that you want, including the relationship, including the career, all of those pieces take courage. It's not going to come easy for some people. It's not. Taking that first step, you being courageous, leaning into the next step so you can actually attain what you want out of life, it may not come easy to you, meaning that first step. But the more that you practice owning your decisions, stepping into doing the hard, the better you will feel about yourself. It will help to raise your self-esteem. You will start building up evidence that you can do this. What I like to tell my clients when I'm working with them, when we're struggling, when they're struggling in this particular area about trusting their decisions and even or being confident, what we do is we take a moment to create a success box. What is a success box? It's literally putting in the things that you have accomplished. So when your critical inner voice starts to come in and you start to feel down about yourself, you're feeling like, okay, my skin is not looking great today. I got a bad hair day. All of these things keep coming up. And literally, listen, you're not the only one that life be lifing with. Let me just tell y'all something. Sunday, I woke up to I had a sleepover for my daughter. So Sunday, I woke up to the little girl being, she got kicked out of the bed by my daughter. So mind you, it's 5 a.m. Actually, it's 4:30. Okay, let's be real. 4:30, they did not go back to sleep. Okay. Just before 5, my actual daughter ended up throwing up. Great. Oh my goodness. Sunday is off to a beautiful start. I'm online trying to practice, not practice. I'm online trying to make a payment for something, and my card is not going through. It's 5 a.m. I look at my phone and I happen to open up my text message because I have it on do not disturb. So I had to manually go in there and look at it. And then I got these messages from my bank. Did you approve this? Did you approve this? Did you approve? I'm like, okay, all before 5 a.m. So then I get on the phone with the bank, the fraud department. Let's be real. Let's clarify. I get on the phone with the bank. They basically tell me that somebody been in my account. This is Sunday, all before 6 a.m. So I had to trust my decision-making skills to lean into, okay, so what do I need to do? Okay, first thing you need to do is figure out, go through these charges and see if all of them are yours. Well, all of them actually did look like mine, but then there was a suspicious charge on there. Okay, so maybe this is what they were talking about. Not to mention it's 5 a.m. So they online trying to get my money at 5 a.m. Okay, not only did they do it to one account, they did it to 2 accounts. Actually, they did it to 2 accounts at one bank, and then they did it to one account, which is my business account. All of them was the exact same amount of money. Suspicious, right? They was from 3 different merchants, all online purchases. So I'm like, I had to trust the process. Like, okay, this obvious some type of test that I don't really think I need to pass at this point, because I've been having too many tests come my way. Like, God, for real, what we doing? So anywho, I had to lean into understanding that I can take care of this. And if I went into waddling and woe is me and life sucks and all of that stuff, what does that get accomplished? Yeah, I can complain for a few minutes, but what does it really accomplish? Nothing. It doesn't get anything done. So luckily, one of my banks was open 24 hours, specifically the fraud department. I was able to shut down those cards Monday morning. I was able to shut down the third card, no amount of other stuff. But then there's other things that goes along with that. Like some of my auto pay stuff got rejected because now those cards are shut down. I have to wait to receive cards in the mail. So it's just a whole bunch of stuff that goes along with life be life. And so anytime you think that your life is the only one that's life, and trust and believe you are not. But I make a conscious decision every single day to say, I am not going to allow these things to take over my day. I trust my decision that I actually did the right thing. And what am I worrying about anyway? There's nothing that I can do. I love to share this with you if you've never heard this before, which is control what you can control. Why worry about the things that you cannot control? I couldn't control that somebody got my account numbers. I couldn't control that they actually went into my account and actually purchased some things. I can't control none of that, but I can control how my day unfolds. I can control making sure that my daughter was okay. I can control making sure that her friend that spent the night that night was okay. Like all of those things. And this is kind of off the subject. I get that. But just understanding that I made the decision from a place of worthiness and I can have to move on. I can only control what I can control. So let's come back over to this. Anytime you're feeling down about yourself, down about your day, because you have already started leaning into creating your success box as well as putting items in your success box whenever you have these down days, which you will, because life will life, you can go to your success box and actually feed love, feed affirming words to yourself, feed nothing but joy. And that's literally going to give you a confidence boost. I don't have the statistic right in front of me, but speaking words of affirmation to yourself actually helps to increase your confidence and self-esteem in that moment. Now, you do have to do it on a regular basis in order for it to stick. But just imagine in that moment you're feeling down and out, and you start to pull out the success box of all of the things that you have accomplished. And then maybe in that moment you say, you know what, I actually did all this stuff. And maybe one of the other things, one of your goals you need to start attaining and working on, maybe that sparks, well, let me just go ahead and start knocking some of this other stuff out in order to help me to get to the next level in my life, whatever said goal is. Like right now, I am learning Spanish and Mandarin. Yes, Chinese. My daughter is in immersion school, and so she's already learning Mandarin. I want to be able to speak to her in Mandarin, and she'll also learn Spanish as well. I've been wanting to learn Spanish for forever and a day. I am now every single day for about 20 to 30 minutes learning the new skill of being able to speak those multiple languages. So I am deciding to control what I can control. So leverage faith in the process, decide from a place of worthiness. The third one is decisions don't require consensus. When you believe and trust in your own decision-making skill, you no longer have to go to external forces outside of yourself to ask their opinions about anything. You just don't have to do that. Seeking advice can be helpful. Don't get it twisted. It can be helpful, but not on every decision. If you need to run it by every single person in your friend group, that's too many people. So you can run it by some trusted people, absolutely. Some friends, some family, some of your peers, but too many opinions can dilute your clarity. Let me say that again. Too many opinions can dilute your clarity. And you only are as clear as you can be when you begin. Clarity begets clarity. If you have too many people giving you their opinion, more than likely you're going to have several opinions. And I'm not going to say that every single person is going to give you a separate opinion, although that can happen. But let's say you ask 6 people and two all gave you the same opinion, meaning two people gave you one, two people gave you another, two people gave you another opinion. So now there's still at least three opinions in the pot. That can start to dilute what you really want to do. So instead of going to ask for permission, why not go and tell what you actually did, what you decided to do? Now, you can always hold it close to the chest and not say anything. But if you do feel that you need to say something, don't go and ask permission or what are your thoughts or what do you think I should do? Decide. Make a decision. You can do it. Trust me, you can do it. It may be tough in the beginning because this may have been your negative habit. I'm saying negative because I'm assuming that you are constantly asking outsiders, outside of yourself, their opinion. It is healthy to do it sometimes, but not every single decision needs to be ran by someone. You don't need a consensus. Decisions do not require a consensus. The fourth thing you must do is reframe mistakes as lessons. Trusting yourself does not mean you'll always get it right, but it does mean believing in your ability to handle outcomes. Mistakes are a part of the journey, not an indictment of your worth or intelligence. Every decision, right or wrong, teaches you something valuable. Now, whenever my clients or a potential client is telling me about their dating situation, we literally go through this process of having them to understand what's actually happening. So when they look back on their dating situations, I literally ask them, what lessons did you learn? What lessons did you learn from being in that relationship? Even though the relationship didn't last the test of time, there should be something there that you actually learned from that relationship, because you were probably a part of the problem, and 9 times out of 10 you were. Let's be real, right? However, I get it. The other party has something to do with you, the relationship not lasting the test of time as well. But we can't just go always blaming the other person. We have to think about what we did and what we weren't doing and what we were doing to be petty, what we did to play into the demise of the relationship. What did you do? It's not always the other person's fault 100% of the time. That's hardly ever the case. Let's be real. That's hardly ever the case. It being the other person's fault and you were just picture perfect the entire time. That's not true. Because at some point you're going to play into the game. At some point you're going to start doing shady stuff because you don't feel like you are valued. You're not going to feel valued. And so at some point you did something wrong. And so again, when we work together, we focus on what lessons you actually learn. This is also so you can stop repeating the same thing over and over again. If you truly learn the lesson from the thing that you were doing, the next time you see yourself doing it, you'll stop, you'll catch yourself. And here's the thing, you may not catch yourself in the moment of doing it. You might catch yourself after you actually did the act, after you completed the toxic behavior that was once getting you in trouble all the time. You may catch yourself completely after, because building habits, building behaviors takes practice. So you're going to get it wrong at some point. And that's okay. That's literally a part of the process. Trusting this process. Trusting your decision-making skills. So what lessons did you learn when you were in your previous relationships? It's not always the other person's fault. Also, building trust in your decisions is helping you to set boundaries against your doubts. Protect your peace and confidence by distancing yourself from people or environments that make you question your abilities. Surround yourself with those who uplift, affirm, or your capacity to choose wisely. Surround yourself with those who uplift and affirm your capacity to choose wisely. Setting boundaries against doubt. That's what this does. when you're trusting, building trust in your decisions. Protect your peace. I'm all about that. I literally had to do this recently, distancing myself from environments and people that were not peaceful or what I deemed to be peaceful. My spirit wasn't right when I was in that environment. My spirit wasn't right when I was around that person. And so I had to make a conscious decision. Well, you got to do something different. I can control what I can control, as I was just saying. And my controlling was deciding to step away from that friendship and that environment. They were starting to bring a lot of their toxic life and trying to commingle it with my life. And that's not the life I live. So you have to do this not only with your romantic relationships, you also have to figure out to distance yourself from your friendships, the people that are not pouring into you, the people that are just as toxic and or never call you to the fire. They some people call them the ride or die. The ride or die will do some toxic things with you. And that's really not the person you need to be in your corner. Not the ride or die that's going to go and bust windows with you. That's not the friend I'm talking about to be in your circle. That's the one you need to be distanced from, because y'all going to be in jail somewhere, have charges. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not a good decision making. Calling the ride or die, and then y'all go and do some toxic stuff. That's not the correct decision making in order to attract better. Because what you put out there is what you will receive. So if you're putting out a lot of toxicity, you will absolutely receive toxicity your way. And then you're going to be wondering, why does good things always happen to good people? And not realizing that in that moment, you wasn't acting like a good people. You was acting like the toxic person. So you got what toxic people get, which is more toxicity to their life. So trust in your decisions. It is something that is healthy for you to do. When you do that, remember to leverage faith in this process. It is a journey. When you make a decision, decide from a place of worthiness, because you are worthy to make the decision. You can do it. Honor what you decide, knowing that this could be the wrong decision, but you still have to make a decision. Decisions do not require a consensus. Can you ask somebody? Sure. But if this is your habit where you feel like you can't get anything done unless you run it past somebody, that's something that you need to work on. And so now you need to pump the brakes on asking other people their opinions about the things that you need to do. Now it's time for you to tap into and build this muscle and make this muscle strong on your own, making your own decisions. Reframe mistakes as lessons. So instead of looking at this as a bad thing, look at it as a positive. What did I learn from being in that relationship? What did I learn by being at that job? What did I learn from being in this friendship, or the friendship that I thought it was? It wasn't what I thought it was, which is why I'm no longer there. Right? Reframe your mistakes as lessons. So what did you do, and how could you reframe that? Lastly, again, set boundaries against your doubt. Protect your peace and your confidence by distancing yourself from the toxic people and or environments that you're used to saying, this is what I'm used to, this is what I'm always going to do. And if you're always going to lean into toxicity, that's exactly what you will always have around you in some form or fashion. So now it is time for my note takers. If you are taking notes and you are ready for your prompt for today, I want you to decide to make a decision without seeking external validation. What decision or decisions do you need to make fairly recently or fairly current? Some decisions that are coming up, and don't ask nobody else's opinion. Make your own decision and then see how good you feel. So after you write down what the decision or decisions are that you're going to make a decision on by yourself, Then I want you to come back after you made the decision and then journal about how you felt when you made the decision. By implementing these principles, you'll begin to trust yourself more deeply and live a life led by your own power and purpose. I am Marsha Alanio. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I serve Black women, professional Black women, and I help them in all of their relationships to show up differently using tailored strategies so they can cultivate healthy, thriving relationships. Not only romantic relationships, but the relationship with yourself as well. So I love you guys, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And I will see you again tomorrow for day 17. All right. Bye bye now.